Hello everybody, welcome to my first episode of Evil Lurks in the Dark. This series is where I'm going to be making various characters and models and places of a story idea that I had called Evil Lurks in the Dark. It is originally going to be a video game topic, so a lot of the things that you're going to find are going to be video game mechanic based and all that, but life doesn't go your way and I don't have a video game. But I had gotten inspiration from hobbyists that I had seen here on YouTube. Boyle Eye Hobby Time, if I pronounce that correct, was a big inspiration. He made a imaginary Wild West series. So he made diagrams and models of the characters in the world that he had made. And I thought to myself, hey, I could do that. So here I am, starting with Evil Lurks in the Dark. I'm going to be making monsters, I'm going to be making the main character, going to be making some places, and it lets me talk about the world a bit more than I would have been able to in the video game. So, hope you enjoy it. This is my first video doing something like this, so the audio quality, or lack thereof, will be reflected on that. As I get better, I will go back and redo this stuff, but I'm trying to find a balance between low poly and simple animations and style. So, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, let's start with the introduction to this world of Evil Lurks in the Dark. So in the meantime, I'm going to have the video of me making the monster up here on the screen. And if you want to skip to the end to just see the final product, that's alright with me. But I'm going to be reading the story throughout the video. So, whatever you choose, doesn't bother me. Evil Lurks in the Dark takes place around the late 1990s to early 2000s. It follows the aftermath of the apocalypse, which rendered the night, and darkness in general, to be a hazard. With the hustle and bustle of the day, many people prefer to sleep at sundown. But those who found themselves away from the light pollution of buildings and cars, those who studied the night sky, amateur stargazers, or just the lucky few who could observe the night, they would normally be greeted with the beauty of God's tapestry. But on what would be called the blackest night, those few found themselves staring at an abyss. All the light of the stars, and even that reflecting off the moon, were gone. In their place was instead an inky darkness. It was cold and it was still, yet in the corners of one's eye you could swear there was movement above. The air around you had also changed. What was once a gradual transition from the light of a porch to the dark of the street was now defined with sharp, clean edges. The dark had grown stronger, and the light struggled to shine. It was an event that needed to be experienced, to be understood, yet the public thought nothing of it. There's a million reasons as to why one couldn't see the night sky, be it fog or just simple clouds. Even astronomers found themselves blaming the fault on technology or weather, and the untold millions who were asleep, of course, had no knowledge of it. Life continued. So the monster that I'm making today is called the Door Hands. They were going to be a basic monster that kind of spawns randomly throughout the night. As their name implies, they consist of having a lot of hands. So what I did was I took a mannequin model that I made, and I just simply removed the arm. I'm too lazy to make the arms again. So I took it and I made a couple copies where I'm kind of give them a dead flesh colored, and then I elongated the fingers on some, kind of changed how the shape works on another, because these door hands, they're really gnarled and disproportioned. They're not supposed to look natural, and so they're kind of just wonky, and so I made a different couple variations of them. The point of the door hands is to remove the barrier between the outside world and the inside of your house, aka the door. And so, yeah, they were just going to be one of the basic things that the players had to get used to dealing with. On the second night, it was certainly an odd coincidence. Those who felt it again might have been scared or nervous, but after all, it must have been normal, right? On the third night, it was definitely strange weather. Those who never saw it the previous nights treated it the same as those that felt it on the first. Only the experts thought to be worried, but none had seen it to be a sign of the impending doom. It wasn't until the seventh night of lightless skies, when even the light of distant cities and passing cars seemed to fade, did the public decide that something was wrong. It had been discovered that there was a rising increase of missing people that could be traced to the blackest night. Employees that never showed up following a late shift, campers having vanished in the night, and even pets and animals had gone away. So you could see why I decided to not remake the rig for the arms. The current rig that I have allows me to move the elbow around, and I can stretch and squash this limb while still being able to bend it. So right now I'm putting the arms around the door. The way that the door hands work is that they squeeze through the cracks in between the frame and the actual door. And this allows them to get these multitude of arms to scratch and to pound around the door and to break it. Which is obviously bad because that allows the monsters outside to go inside. What was most disturbing was the missing people that they did find. Kids on trampolines have reported seeing skeletons in their neighbors' yards. Families having been found dead in their apartment beds, with every bedroom door having been ripped in half. The few pets that didn't go away had came back holding human ears and non-human remains. The world over had countless events surrounding the darkness. Governments tried to contain the rising commotions, but they could not provide an explanation. People stopped working graveyard shifts. 24-hour stores closed for the night, and truck drivers started to refuse to travel. Still, the deaths and disappearances continued. And then hell broke loose. So right now I'm animating the door hands. And don't worry, it gets a little better. But I'm going to jump forward into the next stage of the diorama process. I actually have a lot of animation footage, and it's honestly kind of boring, and I've run out of script, so I just need to get to the next part. Thank you for getting to this far. I'm sorry. Hopefully it gets better in the next episode. Alright, so right here I'm going to be making the hallway for the diorama. It's going to be really plain, really boring. It's just going to be, plain walls. There's going to be a dresser. And I made what I wanted to be a painting, but ended up being a corkboard. But, the point is that there's going to be a victim that's going to be watching these door hands. And so the diorama is going to be the door hands on one side, the darkness of the rest of the house on the other side, and this poor guy just sitting in the middle, not sure what to do. Just looking, scared out of his mind. Okay, so I've officially run out of things to say. Thank you guys again for getting this far. The next part that's coming up is going to be the short animation that I made with the door hands. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I got really hyped making it. I thought it turned out wonderfully. It's not perfect. There's parts I could have done better, but as I got on, I got more and more hyped, and I just really wanted to get this thing done and finished. And as I said, I'll go back and redo it all at some point. But it's practice. It turns out really good, and I hope that it makes it all worth it. Because to me, it really brings to life the world and these characters that I made. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and following the short is going to be the final diorama and some final thoughts. So, squeezing impossibly through the cracks on the door, the hands reached for the other side. Gnarled and disproportioned, they clawed at the wood. With their single-minded focus, the hands abandon reason. They try not for the knob. They are not content with the mere opening of the door. They seek its utter destruction. The arms begin piling on, the shoulders of whatever abomination they attach to pressing on from the outside. There is no roar or howling. There's no sound from the hands other than their scratching and pounding. Whatever else you hear comes from those who await their entry into your house. Impatiently they scamper around searching for more holes in your defense. All the while, the hands squeeze, crush, and claw. You hear more pounding, coming behind you from your bedroom door, but it is too late. The last thing you hear now is the breaking of your lock and the snapping of wood. Another scream rings through the darkness of the neighborhood, but it goes unheard over the sound of hundreds of clawing hands. So that was my animation about the door hands. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It took a while to make, and I had a lot of fun with it. As you saw in the animation, and as you can see here in the diorama, I added a lot more hands than were originally shown in the creation of the video. I wanted to do a twist for all these animations, where you don't expect it. You don't see it during the creation of the process, and when it finally happens, it's that little bit of spookiness, because you're not supposed to know exactly what's going on until, it's too late. Unfortunately, with the door hands, there's not much I can really do with them other than just adding more hands. And it was kind of implied that they would break it, especially since I said they did. So, yeah, there's not really much I can do but just make more hands. But yeah, no, these are what the door hands do. They just begin crawling and piling, and until eventually they just can't scratch anymore, because it's just all of them as they weave and tight and push and shove each other along. But that was my my video, and hopefully it gets better for the next episode. It took a long time to make this one. Blender, that's the animation program that I use, it did not like rendering these door hands. Every 2 minutes of me working, it would just stop because of how many of them were on screen and moving around, which is a bit of a problem. But the next couple things shouldn't have that much issue. So I hope you enjoyed the first episode of creating the world of Evil Lurks in the Dark. I'm going to make more episodes as I get more and more practice. They'll get better and better and better, hopefully. And as I said, I'll eventually go back and redo it all and give it some proper justice. There's a close-up scene with the hand scratching. Eventually, when I go back, I'm gonna make it so that it's actually carving in dents in the wood and stuff. And I think that will look a lot more impressive than just, low poly fingers clipping in through a door. But, it's practice. It's something to do. And, yeah, hopefully it only gets better from here. So, have a good day, and thank you for watching.